Hello. On this edition of Commuter Connections, we've got your best ride to Ravens football at M&T Bank Stadium. We have information on exciting improvements coming to the BWI Airport Rail Station. The annual Coleman Race for the Cure is not far off, and we'll take you behind the scenes for a day in the life of an Mdot MTA bus operator. All on this edition of Commuter Connections. The arrival of a new season of Ravens football makes this an exciting time for football fans throughout the area. Large numbers of fans will head to M&T Bank Stadium on game day. How do you intend to get there? Mdot MTA Chief Operations Officer Sean Adderson joins us with valuable information on getting to all the action. Welcome back to Commuter Connections.
Thank you, Sandy. Glad to be here.
So, how many Ravens games are there this season?
So there are 10 home games. 2 of which are preseason and 8 regular season games.
And I know they've done fairly well with the preseason. So how do you think they're going to do this year? Do you think the Ravens are going to go all the way to the Super Bowl?
Well, you know, I'm a homer at heart, so of course I have aspirations of them making it to the Super Bowl. But being realistic, if they play well and they don't have any injuries, and I think we have a good chance of making the playoffs.
And are you going to be at the games? Do you plan to attend maybe 1 or 2 of them this season?
I do. I try to take my son, try to get him into the spirit of being a hometown Ravens fan. So I'll go a couple times a year, and then I'll also go in my official capacity just to make sure our service is doing well. So I'll usually be down in the stadium 5 or 6 times a year.
Okay, well, a nice lead into my next question. I was going to say, what would you say is the best way to get to the Ravens action this season, and why should we leave our vehicles at home?
Well, of course, I'm going to say using Mdot MTA service to get to M&T Bank Stadium. One, our light rail stops right outside the stadium. I mean, it has a dedicated stop right there. And, you know, when you think about the fact that we have thousands of free parking spots along the light rail system that people can park their cars and hop on the light rail and come down, that definitely is an advantage. You could take advantage of other Mdot modes like bus. We have regular bus service that runs along Pratt Street, as well as you have our Metro subway. They're not too far away, a few blocks walking distance if you get up at Charles Center or Lexington Market, and you can walk down to the stadium. And then, of course, if you're even further out, you can use MARC. MARC weekend service runs, and you can hop a train up from the DC area and catch light rail over from Penn Station, and you're right there.
So people have a lot of options.
A lot of options to get there.
And I imagine they can kind of plan the trip, right? They can go online and just kind of see what the various options are and put that all together.
Yeah, absolutely. They can use the transit app. They can use Google. They can come to our website at mta.maryland.gov and do some trip planning. There's a variety of ways to figure out the best option, but they'll all be cheaper than driving and parking. You know, parking typically around the stadium is $25 to $30. So to use our system, it'd be significantly cheaper.
And you avoid all the traffic congestion as well.
Yes, you definitely avoid all the congestion of traffic.
So roughly how many people do you say Mdot MTA transports to the games on a regular game day?
So when we have big crowds, we have usually between 10 and 12% of the crowd will use Mdot MTA service. So you're talking about 7,000 to 8,000 people will use our system to get to the game. So that's pretty busy day. Typically, you use light rail, they may do 25,000 people a day, and so to get 8,000 in a 3-hour time period is a big rush of people.
So tell us, how do you go about managing all the crowds, and how far in advance do you have to start planning and preparing?
We start months in advance, usually about 8 weeks out from game day. We start putting together the team, and we work through a plan. We work alongside the Stadium Authority, and we do sort of a preseason check-in and make sure all the systems are a go. But we'll meet down at the stadium complex, kind of walk through how we're going to handle moving people. We get together with all of our maintenance personnel and make sure the trains are ready to go. Game day production, it could be upwards of, maybe 50 to 60 people out there working just to behind the scenes to ensure that the service goes smooth.
I was going to ask you, I said it sounds like a lot of people would be involved in that process.
It is, when you count, MTA police and, again, the maintenance and supervision and all the other people it takes to, again, ensure that the system's safe and that the vehicles are going to be ready to go. It's a big production for us.
So tell us again, if people want more information on Mdot MTA's transit services, where can they go?
So they can go to our website, again, mta.maryland.gov. They can look up the fares. I would encourage you to buy a day pass. It's $4.20. That day pass will allow you, back and forth service on the train. And if you want to hang out and do something down at the Inner Harbor after the game, it allows you that flexibility. If it's one way, it's $1.80. So, but you can go to our website and you'll find all that information there.
It sounds nice, hanging out a little bit before or after the game.
Yes, that is very popular, I understand.
So they can enjoy that flexibility, that's true.
Yes, they can.
Sean, thanks so much for joining us today. Hopefully we'll see you at the games, rooting on the Ravens.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, a look at improvements coming to the BWI Airport Rail Station. Stay with us.
A moment in transit.
Badge number 1991, Miss Antoinette Brown.
My mom's graduation today. That's my mom.
My name is Kelvin Brown. My badge number is 1974. This is my second time around, so I'm a returning operator, and it's always good to be here at MTA.
Badge 1981, Sandra Holloway.
It's just very rewarding to be able to stand here on today and accomplishing those goals that we've been set out to get. And today we're just looking forward to be a great day.
Badge 1988, Shanae Anthony.
I'm a station manager now with MTA for 18 years, and this is my daughter, Shanae Anthony, who's beginning MTA as a bus operator. Just graduated today.
We used to ride the bus with her, seeing her start out as an MTA driver. It feels good.
Badge 1993, Justin Jackson.
I'm excited. I'm anticipating what's happening next. I'm ready. I love the people, so I'm already ready to do things for the community anyway. So I'm happy to help any way I can.
Badge 1989, Sean Roan.
It's a dream come true for me. A long time coming, and I look forward to giving the public world-class customer service.
Badge 1982, Kimberly Chisholm.
The thing that I got most out of training is patience. Most definitely patience.
Congratulations, Mom.
Thank you.
A moment in transit.
In an effort to bring you the best service in transit, Mdot MTA will make improvements to the BWI Airport Rail Station, which surely will make a difference in the commutes of MARC riders that travel through this station. Mdot MTA Chief of Architecture and Sustainability, Toby Johnson, joins us with a look at this exciting station improvement project. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So what sparked the idea to upgrade the BWI Airport Rail Station?
Well, we did a condition assessment of the existing station, which means we looked at the functionality of the station as well as the life cycle of various systems, and determined that due to increased ridership, the existing station could no longer function as is. So it was suggested to do an addition and renovation in order to improve customer service.
Okay, so I know BWI Airport Rail Station has been around a little while. Just how old is the station?
The station was built in 1980.
Oh, wow, okay. I thought it might have been a lot older than that.
Yes.
Okay. So what are some of the improvements that we're going to see?
Well, as I said, it is an addition and renovation. So the existing station will be demolished and renovated to include a larger waiting area, increased seating, increased TVM machines, larger windows, a retail area, customer service, and some mechanical space. And then the addition will include new restrooms.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yes.
So I know you mentioned, that you're doing this to accommodate the increased ridership. Just how many people use that station on a daily basis?
The station has about 2,200 daily riders during the week, Monday through Friday, and about 300 to 400 riders daily on the weekends.
Oh, so quite a few.
Yes.
Have we seen any type of upgrades like what's coming? Has there been any recent upgrades to the station?
Not as substantial as this project.
Oh, okay, so this is a big one. And roughly how much will the improvements cost?
The improvements are funded by both state and federal funds, and the cost of construction is $4.7 million.
When do you expect that the construction will begin? And when should everything be completed?
So construction has started already.
Okay.
It started in this past spring, and construction is scheduled to be completed in May of 2019.
Okay, so is that like roughly 14 months?
14 months.
Oh, okay, okay. How are people, going to be able to access the station as far as, getting the MARC or the Amtrak trains? How are they going to be able to do that with the construction that's underway?
So the existing station will basically be demolished down to the exterior studs, the roof, and the slab. So it won't be in service during construction, but we are providing a temporary station and temporary restrooms just north of the station. So obviously we know that our customers at the VW station are on a very tight schedule. So we have looked very carefully at the pedestrian paths and maintenance of traffic. And so we've provided access to both the north and southbound platforms with as little interruption as possible.
What are some of the helpful tips that you're giving people, just walking around and, just being able to navigate through the station?
There's additional signage that's been provided. We've alerted all of our MARC customers well in advance to let them know that the construction is coming. And as I said, it's, I would say, significant signage and pedestrian paths.
So just be mindful of the signs, be careful where you're walking.
Yes.
And things like that. Okay. And what kind of feedback are you expecting to get from MARC riders once all of the improvements are in place?
Yeah, we're very excited about this project. We've met with the MARC Advisory Council and received very good feedback.
Great.
And we can't wait for the MARC riders to see it. I think they'll be extremely pleased with the larger waiting area, the larger windows with increased visibility, additional seating, additional ticket vending machines, and larger customer service, and certainly the new restrooms.
Well, Toby, I wish you the best of luck with the project. Thanks for coming on the show to tell us all about it. And hopefully we'll have you back once all the upgrades are in place, just to let us know what's happening there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, a look at a day in the life of an Mdot MTA bus operator. That's just ahead.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
The job of an Mdot MTA bus operator is an important one that's full of responsibility, skill, and a commitment to service. Every day you see these dedicated Mdot MTA employees on the streets, roads, and avenues of Baltimore transporting transit patrons. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a bus operator? We've got a behind-the-scenes look at this very important job.
Tracy Phillips, badge 1282, a bus operator at Kirk Division. From the time that you come in, you see the dispatcher, you go to the window, tell them like your work that you do. Like today I'm doing 508, it's due in 1039. Then you go to the starter to get your coach, write your coach down, and then you just come out in the yard and you find your coach and do your pre-trip to start your day. Pre-trip, you're inspecting the whole entire bus. Like the wheels, the doors, the mirrors, all of the bus, the inside, like stern wheel, and make sure everything is working. Today we're doing the pink route, which operates from West Baltimore to Sedonia. I picked the pink route because it's the old 5 and it's just like a straight through. I've been a bus operator for 7 years. I'm from Baltimore. I grew up over the east side of Baltimore. As a child, believe it or not, it may sound cliche, but I always wanted to be a bus driver. Because growing up, like when I came up, it wasn't many bus drivers, and I just was like, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a bus driver. My bus will always be on time, and yeah, I'm just gonna be a bus driver. In 2011, this is where I came. It feels great to know that I said something and to actually put it into play. I'm amazed. I have regulars on my bus that I enjoy seeing every day. I feel like I'm helping them because we're taking them to and from work or to and from stores just to get around the everyday life. They get on, they smile, they speak, and it feels good to be acknowledged by them that you're their bus driver every day and to thank you for coming to work so that they can get to work. As bus operators, we kind of are ambassadors. Like, patrons come to us to ask us like how to get from point A to point B, and it's part of our job to inform them the best way as we can to direct them into their journey throughout the day. I like seeing coming through the downtown area how they're doing all the rebuilding of the lofts and parking garages and the new little eatery that they put at Center and Park. It's a nice sightseeing route. This is the northeast side of town, John Hopkins area. You might hear me like just humming or singing random songs. That's how I get through my day from time to time. I sing. Not loud enough to people hear, but just to myself. I have a daughter, she's 11 years old, and outside of MTA, that's what I am. I'm a mom, and I'm an aunt, I'm a cousin, and I enjoy spending time with my family, going on like movies or dinner or just going out to have fun. I pick my schedule based upon my daughter's schedule. I make sure that I take her to school every day, and I try to get like a break to pick her up, but if not, I get her picked up from daycare. But my schedule is based upon my family schedule. So now we're at Sedonia Loop, the end of the Pink Line. It was a regular day on the Pink Line, not as many people, but after I have a short layover and then I'll make my way back over to Mdot train station. It's a good company. They make you feel like family, like welcome. Like at Kirk Division, it's like when you come in, they know you by name. If you're going through something, they know. I like working for MTA.
Coming up next, a look at the annual Komen Race for the Cure. Stay with us.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs, just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Mdot MTA proudly partners with the Komen Race for the Cure each year in the fight against breast cancer. This year is no different. The big event is next month, and Komen, Maryland Communications and Marketing Director Kim Schmulowitz joins us with information on how you can participate in the race. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So Kim, tell us, what is the Komen Race for the Cure?
Well, the Komen Maryland Race for the Cure is the premier fundraiser for Susan G. Komen, Maryland. And Susan G. Komen is the world's largest breast cancer organization. We fund more research than any nonprofit outside of the federal government, as well as fund local programs for breast health.
Oh, okay. So how long has this race existed?
Well, in Maryland, we've been around since 1993. We started in Rashfield in Baltimore, and then were there until 1997 when we moved to Hunt Valley for 10 years. And then last year we came back to Baltimore for our 25th anniversary, and it was a great time in Baltimore. And this year we've moved again out to Columbia, just to be centrally located in the state for a lot of people to come and enjoy the day and remember those we have lost to breast cancer and celebrate our survivors.
So give us a little bit of history on how the race got started.
Well, Susan G. Komen as an organization got started in the early 80s when Nancy Brinker, our founder, promised her sister Susan G. Komen, who was dying of metastatic breast cancer at the age of 36, that she would do anything she could to stop this terrible disease. Back then, breast cancer was really in the shadows. You couldn't say the word breast in the newspaper or on television, and people really didn't talk about the disease. And many more women were dying because they didn't know about early screening and risk factors and things like that. So Nancy built from a shoebox of contacts this global organization, and that has given more than $956 million to research, and really had a part in every major advancement to breast cancer in the country, in the world, really. So now we're 35 years later, and though we have made some tremendous strides in the field of breast cancer research, 40,000 people will still die of breast cancer every year. So we still have a lot of work to do. So why the Race for the Cure is so important is that it's primarily a fundraiser. It's our marquee fundraiser. It's where we get most of our funds to fund research and local breast health programs here in Maryland.
Okay, and that was actually going to be one of my questions. How exactly does the race help you in your effort to fight breast cancer?
75% of the funds stay local here in Maryland to fund breast health programs at local hospitals and nonprofit organizations that serve women and and men in the state, primarily underserved women and men who may not have access to treatment and screening and need it. And then the other 25% goes to global research into the cures for breast cancer. And a lot of that research money comes back here to Maryland because we have such wonderful research institutions like Johns Hopkins University and University of Maryland and NIH. Just last fall, Komen gave a $1.6 million research grant to Hopkins for breast cancer research.
And I know you mentioned men in there. I think a lot of times when people think breast cancer, they're mainly thinking about women. But this disease impacts men as well.
It does impact men. It not on the scale, of course, that it impacts women. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in the U.S. in his or her lifetime. Much smaller percent, just about 2% of the people diagnosed with breast cancer will be men. But still, men should obviously, if they have any abnormalities in their breast tissue, yes, men have breasts too. If they have any abnormalities in their breast tissue, they should definitely ask their doctor about it.
How many people are you expecting or planning for with the race this year?
Probably about 5,000 to 7,000 people in Columbia.
Wow. How does that compare to last year?
We are hoping that it'll be a little bit more. Right now, the registration numbers are running a little bit above last year. So that's so we're hoping that to increase the numbers over last year.
And how does the race exactly bring in money?
That's a really good question because sometimes that's often misunderstood. There is a registration fee, but a large portion of that registration fee underwrites the cost of the race. So really, we rely on so much more than your registration fee to fund these programs. So we encourage participants to fundraise, to go online. It's really easy these days with social media to just tell everyone how breast cancer has touched their lives and encourage them to donate to their efforts in the race for the cure. And so we depend on our participants to raise money. That's how we get the funds. We also have generous sponsors that provide cash and in-kind sponsorship so that we can use more of the registration fee to offset those costs.
And I know you talked a little bit about monies raised. So tell me again, how much were you able to raise last year and what's the goal for this year?
Last year we were able to raise about $800,000. And so we always have a little bit of a higher goal. I think on our website where we said 900,000. So so we're hoping in that neighborhood that would be wonderful.
Okay, and I'm sure you'll hit your goal. I'm sure you'll hit the goal. And so what would you say is probably one of the best ways for people to get to the race in Columbia on race day?
Well, there's a variety of options. Thanks to our partnership with Mdot, we hope to have some shuttle buses at some key light rail stops so that people can take the light rail and then get on a shuttle bus out to Columbia. And then, of course, you can drive. And there's plenty of parking out at Columbia Gateway. It's an office park, so there's a lot of parking lots, and we'll be offering shuttles from the different parking lots. So there's a lot of alternatives, and it's all on our website.
Oh, okay. And where in Columbia will the race take place? Where will you start and wrap up?
Again, we're in Columbia Gateway Office Park, and that's right near the intersection of 95 and 175 in Columbia. And so when you come off of 175 onto Columbia Gateway, you'll follow the signs. There's the entrance will be right on the big loop that goes around Columbia Gateway, and the race village will be in one of the office parks there.
Oh, okay, okay. And if viewers want more information on the race or how to get there, where can they go?
They can go to our website at Komen, that's K-O-M as in Mary, E-N as in Nancy, MD like Maryland.org/Maryland Race. KomenMD.org/Maryland Race.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us on the show, and good luck with this year's race.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. That brings us to the end of another edition of Commuter Connections. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.